Hi, welcome to our yoga practice. Please take a comfortable seat, nice and tall through your spine. Sit cross-legged like I'm doing, or you could sit back on your heels, legs straight out in front, whatever feels best to you. As you sit tall, close the eyes or turn your gaze low. Give yourself the opportunity to just sit, just breathe for a few rounds of inhale and exhale. Transport yourself from where you just were, what you were just doing, to be fully present right here, right now, for yourself, for this time on your yoga mat. Let's get moving. Chin down to the chest. Rock your right ear towards the right shoulder. Pause there. Take the left hand out to your side. Take the right hand on top of the left ear. Give it a little tug out to the side. Not much pressure at all, just a lengthening out. This is a wonderful way to start the practice, especially if you've been sitting at a desk, staring at a computer screen for much of your day. We need the release. Bring both hands back to your thighs. Tuck the chin to your chest. And then go left ear to left shoulder. And walk the fingertips out to the side. I know some of you are around children of all ages throughout the day, perhaps. That's also going to stress us and bring the shoulders up towards the ears. So here is your time to release, to try to let it go just a little bit. Drop the tension. Okay, hands back to your thighs, chin to the chest. As you lift the head, gently open the eyes and roll your shoulders up, back, and down a few times. Looks like we've got a little co-teacher today. This is my dog Bodhi in the background. Little guy is coming up on 12 years old. My goodness. Lift both arms up to the sky. He's hanging in there. Take your right arm down by the side and reach over. Inhale, lift both arms up to the sky. And then second side, reach over. And we'll do this just a few times, swaying back and forth. You don't have to stay in rhythm with me. Just go back and forth here, maybe starting to get deeper with each lean down to the forearm. And it's okay if one side of your seat comes a little bit off of the mat. This rocking, a way to loosen up the spine, loosen up the synovial fluid around our joints. Just allow some space in. Good, keep going, a little bit more. Okay, and then let's bring both arms back up to the sky. And palms down right to the center. Keep hands here or try hands on the shoulders. Same sort of thing in terms of trying to get ourselves moving, but along a different twist. Twist side to side. Try to keep the elbows lifted, whether your palms together or hands at the shoulders here. And then you again find your own pace, what works for you. Work with your breath. And do this for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, And 1. Pause, reach both arms back up to the sky. And now fold all the way over. Reach your arms out in front of you. Change, and so that you come to child's pose. So I'm finding child's pose, knees go apart, big toes together, and arms nice and long out in front of you on the yoga mat. And here I want to find big circles. You'll see this as somewhat of a theme throughout the class. So you've moved from child's pose, and there's no wrong way to do this, kind of through a cobra, cat pose, back to child's pose. We're just moving forward and back on the yoga mat. Really getting the spine awakened through all the different sorts of movements today. Side to side, front to back, upper spine, lower spine, just really working it all in. Stay back in child's pose now. Settle in. And walk both hands a little over towards the first side. Reach out to the fingertips, but at the same time, try to pull the seat back towards your heels. Walk the hands across your center and on over to your second side. Same work here. Feel free to exhale, breathe out of the mouth, let it go. A couple extra big sighs, whenever feels good to you. All right, then we'll come back up to the middle, through to all fours. And this is our traditional cat and cow. So we're staying in all fours now. But again, finding a big range of motion in the spine, back and forth. If you have a little extra time, a few days throughout your week, doing like the first 15 minutes of this class, this kind of warm-up series, can be really nice add-on. Having the whole hour, almost a full hour for yoga practice, I'd say is almost more of a luxury throughout the week. Wonderful if we can make the time and attention to it. But really, if you can offer yourself 10, 15 minutes a couple of times a week, it'll be so good. Okay, let's do downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, and lift your hips up and back. Here in our inverted V shape, pedal out your feet a little bit, back and forth. Shake the head a little bit, back and forth. Okay, and then let's settle into a more still position. In my more still downward facing dog, I like to take the feet a little wider, like almost as wide as my yoga mat, while keeping the hands still just around shoulder distance apart. Space to breathe here, full inhale, complete exhale. And then take a nice bend in your knees and walk the hands backwards to your feet. Think ragdoll pose. Hold on to your elbows and sway a little bit from side to side. Be as heavy as you possibly can in that upper body. It's funny to think about it, but really, whether we're sitting, standing, walking, whatever it might be throughout the day, our postural muscles, our abdominals, strength of the core, having to work quite strong just to keep us upright. Here, giving yourself that opportunity to release, oh, so good for us. Stay a little bit longer. Okay, and then let's gently roll up to standing. Roll the shoulders up and back, up and back. And roll the shoulders forward and down, forward and down. Stand in the center of your yoga mat. We're going to continue to move the spine sort of fluidly in all of these different directions from a standing position now. Take the left hand overhead and reach towards the right, and then change to the second side. And here I've got the other hand just kind of pulled in against my side. Squeeze the glutes a bit, push down into your feet so you feel pretty solid in the foundation of the body as you take this lean from side to side. I do this pretty often, so I know that I come into a pretty deep side bend. Yours might be a little bit higher. It's all just finding the range that works. Some days I need to stay up here for sure. I get pretty intense springtime allergies. Maybe you're the same. And staying a little higher in these side bends sometimes is necessary because I just don't have the lung capacity and space. Take it a little bit more side to side here. Okay, and then we're just standing in the center. Relax your arms. Again, here, like we did seated, the choice to place your hands palms together. I'm swaying a little bit, kind of getting ready in my lower body. I'm going to bend the knees a bit here. Have the feet about as wide as your yoga mat. Hands stay in the center or at the shoulders, and we're twisting. And this time you're letting the opposite heel lift up as you twist from side to side. Simple, don't overthink this one, just kind of move with it. Letting that elbow come at least towards the center line of the body if you were standing still each time. Getting about 90 to 180 degree rotation. Okay, let's be here for 6 and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out. And I really do mean shake it out. Like move your feet. It can be just a marching. It can be a swaying. A little bit of samba, right? Whatever you want. Shake, 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 shake. Come stand at the front of your yoga mat. Can you find stillness now? It's all shook out. Fix your gaze in one spot or close your eyes. And today I want you to practice an extended exhale breath. Whatever the length of your inhale, say a count of 3 or 4, make the exhale longer. A count of 4, of 5, of 6. Inhale, make the exhale longer. Do that for 2 more breaths. Now, open the eyes, reach your arms up to the sky. All of that work in the beginning, the first 15 minutes there, helping to prep our bodies to move into a little bit more of a rest and restore the parasympathetic nervous system. So we're going to move slowly, mindfully through the rest of this practice. Come to plank position. and lower flat down to your yoga mat. Peel the chest up for cobra. Tuck your toes, go to downward facing dog. Stay here in dog pose, several breaths. Look forward to your hands. Make your way forward. I'm going to take several slow steps today, staying in, moving more towards rest and restore parasympathetic nervous system. Exhale, fold over. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. Can we do it all again? Inhale and lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back to plank. Lower down to your yoga mat. Peel the chest up. Downward facing dog. Lift the hips up and back. Breathe here. Look in between your hands. Step or jump to the front. Walk it forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand up, arms to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. We'll continue with a flow, but a little bit different now. Lift the arms up to the sky. Bend the knees as you come into your forward fold. Now keep your right foot forward and step your left foot back into a low lunge. Drop the back knee to the ground. As you do so, bring both hands up to their front thigh and lift your torso. Breathe here. And maybe a little bit of a shift back and forth. Just slightly lift the hips and lower the hips with your breath. And then add a twist. Left arm comes across the right leg. Left hand behind your back. Still maybe with a little bit of a pulse and a lift. Sort of this dynamic movement and the stretch. And slowly untwist. Take the hands down to the yoga mat. Step back to plank. Lower the knees, lower the chest, lower your chin. Pull the chest forward and through for cobra. And this is child's pose. Push back. Remember that rocking back and forth from child's pose? Do it 4 times here. Forward and back. 1. Forward and back. 2. Forward and back. 3. And one more time, forward and back. 4. Come up onto the forearms and look just a little bit forward of your hands. Can you swing your right foot out to the side? If possible, foot planted and toes turned forward, the same direction as your hands. And then you just do gentle rocks forward and back here. And the range of motion is up to you. Everything from a lot of rock to staying still. Wherever your deepest range is, stay there. Just a breath more. And then you switch back to all fours to step that same foot forward. Both feet now to the front of the mat. Half lift. Forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. And bring palms together, center of the chest. 2 standing breaths here before we repeat to the second side. I'm with you throughout the whole thing so that you can stay and rest and restore. And just kind of follow the leader. Lift the arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Now, keep the left foot forward and step your right foot back. Lower the knee to the ground and bring your hands up to your front thigh. Again, you can stay settled, strong in the abdomen, but no need to move in the legs. But if it feels nice to you, and you could always try it, decide what you like, maybe just a little bit of a lift and an extend. A couple of times. And then add a twist. And it's pretty simple here. I'm not trying to go like elbow to the outside of the knee. We're taking the hand just a little bit to the outside of the thigh, other hand reaching back in space, or maybe all the way back towards the opposite thigh. You be your judge. And still, do you want this in stillness or with a little bit of that dynamic movement? What's working? This practice, always about checking in with ourselves, being present to what's working in the moment, but certainly a big theme today. Okay, and then as we untwist, step back, plank position. Lower knees, chest and chin. Through cobra to child's pose. And the opportunity to stay in child's pose or to do those rocks forward and back in the hips. For 2. 2 more here for 3. And 4. You'll come just a little bit forward to be on the forearms, elbows underneath the line of the shoulders, seat lifted a bit in the air. I'm going to have less room. I'm going to just move over on my mat. That's something that we all work with in our home practices, right? Finding the space. And then left leg out to the side. And it's very similar to where you were, except now you're on your forearms. You've got that one leg out, but we're trying to rock a little bit forward and back. Much more stretch and length through the inner thigh here. Stay in the depth of the pose for a couple of breaths. And then just kind of work your way out to all fours. Step the left foot around to the front. And step the back foot forward. Half lift. Forward fold. Stand up, reach both arms up to the sky. And palms together, center of your chest. Take in a couple of breaths. Every time we come to this opportunity to stand, to breathe, work on the extension of the exhale breath. I know teachers that often will say, try to exhale twice the length of your inhale breath. I'm not always there, especially as I'm moving through the practice. But I try to have just something a little bit longer on the exhale. That keeps the body moving towards and into and with, the parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and restore state. It's been a year of difficulty getting to that state. This is your time. Okay, now we'll release the arms, give everything another little bit of a wiggle. And take a wide stance on your yoga mat. So I want you to face the long edge of your mat. Extend the arms straight out to your side. As you extend the arms straight out, what we're looking for is mostly a straight line from the wrist leading straight down to the ankle. That's about how wide you want to stand. Feel like a big shooting star here through the sky, big and wide. Okay, and then we keep that, but turn the left toes out. Reach as far as you can to the left. Triangle pose. Take the left hand down to hold on to your shin, the floor. Maybe you have a yoga block that you can place right there, but I like to use my leg. And then top arm up to the sky. Look to the side or even look up. Like hips open, shoulders open here. Trying not to lean forward or back, just straight up and down in the body. And come all the way back up to standing. And switch. Turn the left toes in and turn the right toes out. Hinge from the hips. So as you push the hips to the left, we lean to the right. That's that long reach that we were working on at the beginning. Open it up. Right hand down to your leg or the floor, top arm up to the sky. Stay toned in the legs, toned in your belly. Take a couple of breaths here. And come back upright. Turn on the feet. One more time. Go back to the first side. Turn the left toes out, right toes straight ahead. If you take class with me somewhat regularly, as I lose my own balance, these are normal standing postures. Most yoga classes, triangle pose and warrior two. So here's warrior two. Bend the front knee. The propensity is for the knee to want to fall in, and that's based on our own range of motion and flexibility. So we have to do the work to try to lengthen and extend out from inner thigh to inner knee. Arms again out by our side. Again, taking it all in today. Be present through the breath, present in the posture. No need to overstrive or overdo. We're just meeting ourselves where we are. That'll help us through each moment. Okay, straighten the left leg. Turn the toes. So left toes straight ahead, right toes turn out. Extend the arms and bend the right knee. Go for warrior two. You know, if you're really thinking about alignment in the practice, one thing I used to do a lot was like half my foot on the mat, half my foot off the mat. And then the right side that you have turned out, you're just right along the edge of the mat. And then you know you're in that center space, trying to stay stacked. And straighten the right leg. Turn the toes back parallel to one another. Wide-legged forward fold. I like to take a little bend in the knees here so that it's easier to get the hands down to the ground. And then once I have the hands down on the ground, then try to lift up through the back of the legs, make the legs straighter and send the head a little bit lower. But with the hands on the ground, you've got sort of like that closed chain, a little bit more safety to work from. Lift up on the front of the kneecap, tone in the quad. Think muscle shrinking down onto the bone so that the back side of the muscle can lengthen out. Couple more breaths here. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to take a look towards the front end of my yoga mat, come into a low lunge, and shift to downward facing dog. So however you can get there, downward facing dog with your hands at the front of your mat and the feet at the back of your mat. And come knees down to the mat. This time knees together, heels together. Sit back on your heels. Okay, back to our spinal work. Take the hands behind your head here and point the elbows out to the side. That in and of itself should be a good deal of work. And with any pressure that you are pushing your hands forward into the back of the head, I want the back of the head to move backwards into the hands with like double the force. So there might be a little push forward, but there's more push back. Elbows straight out to the side, squeeze the tips of the shoulder blades in. You should feel work there. The top of your ribs, try to drop them down towards your waistline. Navel back in towards the spine. That can keep us busy for a long time. And then we are going to twist with it, to twist to the right, and stay and hold little pulses to the right. And I really need to push air out here. Every little pulse, a little push of the breath. Those are my spring allergy lungs just trying to work. Good to get the movement. All right, and then come back to the center again. Push the head back with double the force that the fingertips push forward. Strengthen in the abdomen. Turn, second direction, and little exhales out on each pulse. Ready? 8. 4, 3, and back to the middle. Release the hands. Can you roll the shoulders up, back, and down 4 times? Roll the shoulders forward and down 4 times. Take just your left hand straight up to the sky. Lean over towards the right side. Look up. Inhale, come back to your center. Lower the hand down by your side. Take just your right hand up to the sky. Lean up and over. Hopefully I'm not confusing you guys too much. Sometimes I mirror when I know it's easy to do so. And then other times I know I'm not. But we've always got 2 sides, so we just make sure we get both of them done. All right, come back to the middle. You can come off of your feet and send your legs straight out. We're going to keep that sort of movement and flow going through some seated yoga poses. After we do the movement and flow, similar to how we've warmed up the body throughout practice today, then we'll try to find a little bit more of a settling. Okay? So both feet straight out in front of you here. Flex the feet, think toes straight up to the sky. And this is more about movement, less about how deep you're going. We're just finding what is sort of the natural range as we move. So we're forward and back a few times. We're going to try to keep our hands right like this the whole time and see what kind of mobility we do find in the legs. Okay, change to like butterfly position. Pull the heels in as close as you can, knees out to the side, and we just keep the rocking. If for any reason the rocking is indicative for you, of course, don't do it. You can hold a steady position instead. Okay, very similar position, but we're just going to extend the heels further out in front. So like an extended butterfly or a big diamond shape. Again, we're just forward and back a few times here. I try to always bring something a little bit different, unique from time to time to practice. This constant movement is different. That's all, just different. Try it out, see what fits. Okay, go back to 2 straight legs. We're still in our motion. And then you'll pull just the right foot in like it's in tree pose or like a half butterfly, still forward and back here. Again, still working with just the right foot. We go sole of the foot to the mat and we're trying to come right to the inside. Can you get your foot pretty flat on the mat even if your right butt comes off of the mat as you go forward and back, forward and back. Okay, this one's a little more tricky. I need to get all of the weight onto the left leg to try to kick the right heel back and then go again. What I'm doing here is I've fully closed the knee joint and I want to make sure I'm not putting pressure on the knee joint while I'm closing or opening it. And that's why I got all the weight off onto the left leg. So again, when I come out of the pose, lean over, extend the leg. 2 straight legs. Let's give it 4, 3, and then 2, and 1 here. Second side. So all that we just did, but on the second leg. Should be your left leg coming in here, first like it's in tree pose. Again, you can stop the rock and just hold the pose if that's most indicative for you. Then we go sole of the foot and we're trying to lean to the inside. Okay, and then I'm going to slow down the rock so that I know I've got my core strength and balance. Roll more towards the right leg and kick the left heel in towards the seat. Make sure that's good and planted before I start to rock again. Remember, slow it all down. Take the weight onto the right leg to extend left out. And release your arms, fold and stay over. Maybe your tensions had risen a little bit with the movement, something a little different. Now release it back. Longer breath on the exhale than on your inhale. We're staying here for just over a full minute. Very nice. Come on back upright. Okay. How you doing? I hope you're feeling pretty good, enjoying a little bit of flow with the movement today. We're going to take the rest of our practice actually lying all the way onto our back. I'm going to flip around. I think this will be best if I go this way. But lie down onto your mat. As you do so, pull your knees into your chest. And just squeeze in. And you know what? You stay right there. I'm just going to adjust the way that my view is for you. Just on your back, knees to chest. Working with our small spaces. Try to make it work. Okay, set the soles of your feet down onto the yoga mat and stretch your right leg straight up into the air. With the right leg straight up into the air, take the hands somewhere on the lower leg, between your knee and your ankle. And then nice, just little bit of stretch here. So the foot comes in towards the head only as much as works while keeping the leg pretty darn straight. I've got the sole of the left foot on the ground. I'm going to keep things that way somewhat because of my space, but it's also just a little more agreeable, doable. You could extend this left leg down along your mat if that works best for you or if you just want to. And we're mostly looking for a good long stretch, the back of the right leg. And now lift your head and shoulders off of the mat. And can you take your first two fingers and thumb to wrap around your big toe? And the answer might be yes, I can. You hold it as you relax the head and shoulders back down. If the answer is no, just go back and hold somewhere on your calf. Okay? Whichever one works. And take the leg out towards the right side. This is definitely more doable with the sole of the left foot on the ground because it's easy to lift the left seat and let some of your weight go towards the right side. And then we're going to come back to the middle and release the foot. And then we'll do the second side. So left leg straight up. Again, just hold anywhere on the calf between the knee and the ankle here. Little bit of a tug in, keeping the leg as straight as you can. So engage the kneecap, lift it up, tone in the quad muscle. That's a really easy general rule of thumb to think about. Like, okay, what I'm trying to stretch right now are my hamstrings, the muscles on the back of my thigh. And so to safely stretch the muscles on the back of the leg, I want to strengthen the muscles on the front side, right? So we strengthen, engage muscles on the front to lengthen on the back side. Same thing, any part of the body that you're working with. One side of the muscle has to have tension so the other side can have extension. Okay, hold on, send the leg out to the left. So here, as I extend from inner thigh to inner knee, I feel as though I've pulled back, squeeze, have tension from outer thigh to outer hip, outer knee to outer hip. Okay, bring it back to the center, the leg comes down. And then just arms out like goal post, and let your knees sway a little bit from side to side. I always call this the windshield wiper, side to side. Like what we were doing in the spine before, from seated, from standing. Now it's our legs as we lie down. A lot of like, just move, can't go wrong today. Pull the knees in and then let both legs fall over towards one side. Deepen the breath. Lengthen the exhale. Okay, let the knees float across the middle and over to the second side. Several more breaths right here. And then back into the middle. We've done it, a full practice. Let's take Shavasana, the most important part of practice. So I guess we're not done yet, right? So extend your arms, extend your legs, lie back. And I'll close our practice here today. I invite you to stay for at least a minute, maybe 2 or even 3. You can fall asleep and stay longer. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice, taking the time to nourish your mind, your body, your soul through movement on our yoga mat. Namaste.